Hey guys, what's going on? I'm here today to film a video, another My Story video. These videos are pretty much going to be like the first one was about losing my son James to SIDS, and this one, and then it's also going to be like my journey through my health, the journey through my health. But before we get into that, I want you to know I'm sorry. Let me know if this bothers anybody, you seeing me in the mirror back there. You know, I only have like this little corner to work with, and I could do this video on my bed just like I did my first My Story, but I thought, you know what? I wanted some good vibes in there. And so I was like, I'm doing it here, you know, with the pillow on my lap, just get comfy. And I do have my tea as well.
Mom!
What?
Pizza's here.
Okay. Okay, so, sorry, I had to get pizza. Anyway, I have my tea right here. I'm very sorry about the air conditioner being on. You guys, it is really too hot for me to turn my air off. Like I said, I only have one space where I'm able to film. Literally every place in this house, nook and cranny, is either loud or taken, or it's just there's no other nook and cranny for me to use unless I could go outside, but no. Anyway, and my hair. I didn't get dressed up for this video because I just wanted to come on here and talk, and it's not like it's a beauty video or anything like that. It's about my health, so I just didn't really see a need to put my makeup on or get dressed up. I just got out of the shower, so my hair is like just air dried and kind of looks like a big mess, but that's okay. We're just gonna work with it. Okay. Anyway, Emma's here with me, but for any of my new subscribers, thank you so much for coming to my channel. It means a lot to me that you gave me a chance and came here and liked me. Now, just, you know, I make these videos for you guys to enjoy. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate it a lot. Now I have to try to figure out where I'm going to start. This is the most loaded question ever asked when somebody says to me, well, what's wrong with you? You know, what, not like when they're curious and they want to know kind of like a history of my health. It's like almost 10 years of so much crazy drama that it's hard for me to know when to start, and it's kind of hard for me to talk about. So in these videos, I'm just going to start from the beginning, and then when I'm done talking about it, I will, you know, stop it, and then I will, you know, do other. It'll take you down to where I am now. Let's just work like that, okay? Let me just say that what my diagnoses have been, and then I will kind of take you down the journey. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And then I was diagnosed with adenomyosis, like severe IBS, fibromyalgia, chronic pelvic pain, and one of the severest cases the doctor has ever seen of pelvic adhesions. My adhesions, you know how usually they're like little thin bands? Well, mine were dense and white. And my whole uterus was stuck over here, and they couldn't even see my bladder. Like all my organs were all moved around. So yeah, what else? Oh, I have had since a little girl, I definitely have anxiety. It's just it runs in the family, and it's there. I suffer from anxiety. I have it under control a little bit better, but also insomnia. And I would say this is a symptom of something, but I've had it since a little girl. I've had that since a little girl, and then I've also had anxiety since I was a little girl, and then I've also peed a lot since I was a little girl. So I've always had to pee like a lot, like I'm pregnant, or like I'm pregnant and have been drinking all day long, like, you know, water all day long. That's how much I pee. And then I also have hypothyroidism, but I fluctuate between hypo and hyper. And lately I've been pretty steady, but I feel like I am hyper right now. So I've also been diagnosed with overgrowth of yeast. I think it's called Candida. I'll link everything down below, but it's called Candida. I believe it's where you have way too much bad yeast in your body, which is a true thing. And doesn't mean you're getting like down there. It's talking all over your body, which causes like also leaky gut. So I've also been diagnosed with leaky gut syndrome. Honestly, a lot. Now, the fibromyalgia to me is something where I am questioned on it. Yes, I was diagnosed with it probably within the first year, but they never really did the proper testing to rule out autoimmune diseases. I feel like I have fibromyalgia, but I feel like I have an autoimmune disease. And so let's just leave it at that, and then I'll go into my story. I might not get there until the end, but when I feel like it started was after James was born. I started having, and mind you, after Caden, my first son, was born, I was completely fine, didn't have any symptoms whatsoever of anything. After James was born, which was my second child, like I would say probably around month 2, I started getting really bad brain fog. And that's it. Just bad brain fog, to where it felt like I was so cloudy, you know, like really, really like brain fog, like I was dumb, you know. And I know some people might say that that could have been a symptom of hormones and stuff, and it could have been, but these are just things that I have put together that are ironic to me, you know, and I feel like that was the first symptom that I did have. My son did pass away, for the new people who are here, and I do have a video for that, so if you want to watch it, it's my first My Story. I'll link it in the description box.
Anyway.
But pretty much after Jesse was born, like I would say, because I had a C-section, so around the time that my C-section was really starting to heal, like the soreness was gone, that's when I started noticing that there was a change in my body. And the changes that I were feeling were not good change. It was bad. I had severe chronic pelvic pain, and they had put an IED in me and everything. And anyway, that's just part of the story. So anyway, I started going to the doctor and asking him, like, look, I don't feel right. Like, I am not right. I need help. Like, I'm in so much pain. I'm having a hard time taking care of my child. He was a baby at the time. Anyway, I think that I also wasn't feeling well as far as other symptoms too. And they wanted to just throw me on an antidepressant, and I did. I went on one, but it didn't help. So I'm like, look, you need to check my thyroid. First of all, check my thyroid. I had to ask them to do that. So any ladies out there, after you have babies or things like that, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling like achy, if you're feeling any symptoms, don't just take the antidepressant. Have them check your thyroid levels and have them be thorough with this. Say, I want a thorough thyroid test. Don't do the basic, do the thorough, okay? Because most of the time, it could just be your thyroid. So I just check that out first before getting on medication. So anyway, my thyroid definitely was hypo. Now, even though it was hypo, I was 106 pounds. I was tiny. I was small. I just was going to the doctor a lot, you know, telling him I don't feel good, and you know, that really sucks, you know. And I did get help with pain, and I think that that's why they thought that I was going back to the doctor a lot, when in all reality, I wanted to find out what was going on so I could have my life back. I've never had suffered with this type of pain before in my life, and with feeling the way that I did, that I knew it wasn't right. And the fact that they weren't listening to me was beyond frustrating. And they were saying things like, you just had a new baby, you're a new mom, you just lost your child, like, give it some time. I'm like, look, I know my body. I know I just lost my child. I know I just had my third baby. I know myself, and I'm not right. Like, there's something wrong. And how does that cause pelvic pain anyway? You know, and at this time I was really focused on my pelvic pain because that's what was hurting me the most. So they had taken out the IED because they thought, well, maybe that's it. Every time I went to the doctor, I had to get a pap smear, of course. You know, they have to go in there and be like, oh, it feels fine. Oh, send you to a specialist. I've had a urine specialist. I've had so many tests, so many tests, you know. The first year of figuring out what's going on with me was it made me so anxious that I started having anxiety attacks. And I have never experienced actual anxiety attacks in my life. I've definitely had anxiety, but not anxiety attacks, to where I'd have to pull my car. They were random. I would have to pull my car over because I couldn't drive, or it would happen in the middle of the grocery store, or, you know, wherever the hell it wanted to happen, it would. And so I was also being treated as that it's all in my, you know, that it's my anxiety and it's my depression, which I was depressed possibly because of what the hell was going on. It was definitely situational, not just random. So I was having some severe anxiety attacks, and I was having to take medication. And, you know, the doctor's office didn't treat me very well. They treated me like a drug addict. I'm just trying to think of everything. I don't remember like every single procedure I had done because I had so much. I had endros. I've been scoped this way. I've been scoped halfway, you know, up the butt this way. One time, then I've had a colonoscopy and another one down my throat. I have had x-rays. I've had CT scans. I've had needles put in my uterus. I have been poked all over my body. I have just been through hell. My symptoms, not so much my pelvic pain, but my symptoms would come and go. And it took me a really long time to realize that, because obviously I would think every single time that it was going to go away and I was going to feel better. But then when it came back, and so that's kind of how I got to realizing that it was a continual thing. And I was just lost, you guys. And so in the first year, I ended up getting diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and then also after being to so many specialists on my my pelvic pain, I was sent to the very last gynecologist, because I had also been to a lot of gynecologists. First of all, she wasn't very nice to me. She treated me also like a drug addict. Just so frustrating, I swear. So she decided, well, let's do this. Let's blow, if maybe you have interstitial cystitis, which is like irritation of the bladder, you know, and the lining. And what we should do, and this is before I had surgery to find out about my adhesions. And so what we did was I went in for 6 months straight, 6 months straight, 3 times a week. And she would put a catheter in me, and then she would fill my bladder up to full capacity with medicine, and I was supposed to hold it for 3 hours. With my bladder not even being seen as being crushed, it was so painful. There's no way I could hold it that long. I think I could hold it for 45 minutes, not even that, and I had to go. I just couldn't. And it was painful. It was painful. Every time I went in there, it was painful. Anyway, I decided at this point as well, I had started, no, I don't think I had started that yet. We're still in the first year, so I'm just kind of trying to get there. So I stopped going to see her because I wrote her a letter after the 6 months, because I had an appointment, and then something happened to where she had surgery, and I was really hoping I could see her, because I was going to tell her how much pain that the treatments were giving me. And so I wrote her a note, and I told her about my pain. She wrote in my notes that I was pretty much drug seeking. And that was such a, I don't know, like, it was such a shock and a stab in my side, because that's not what I was doing. I was in so much freaking pain. So much pain, I wasn't even able to enjoy my baby just being born. I did enjoy him still, but, you know, like I don't remember a lot in the beginning because I was so miserable all the time, 24/7. And then I started second guessing myself, you know. So after that, I stopped going to the doctor, because I think after I wrote that letter, I had requested my medical records. I'm not exactly sure why, I just did. I think it was because I didn't like her and I was frustrated with her, and I just didn't like her at all because I didn't like her. And so I never wanted to go back and see this lady again. But anyway, so after about a few months, which I had told myself, I'm not doing this right now. I've already had so many I probably had already had 20 pelvic exams in that 1 year. It's frustrating. Anyway, so then I was at a point where I couldn't take it anymore, and so I had to make an appointment with her again. And I had, this was going into the second year, and I had been so sick the night before the appointment. Like I had the flu, and I was like, it was coming out both sides, like all night. I think it's the worst flu that I've had in, gosh, I think it's the worst flu I've ever had, actually. It was so bad the next morning I couldn't even drive myself to the appointment. I didn't even want to go to the appointment, but I just had to because I knew how long it took to get booked in to her. So I pretty much had my sister drive me there, and then we went into the room with her, and I was like, look, I can't take this anymore. I was crying. I cried. I was so emotional every time I went into any doctor because I was in so much pain, and I felt so beaten down that I was emotional, and I cried every single time. So I was crying, and I was like, look, I didn't even want to come in here. I did not want to come in here, but I have to because I'm in so much pain. You have to do surgery on me. I don't feel good. I need you to figure out what's going on. So she agreed to surgery, a pelvic or laparoscopic surgery, and we did that. And then when I came out of surgical, she pretty much came up to me and told me, you know what, Danielle, you have the worst case of adhesions that I've ever seen. We are going to have to do a hysterectomy. We could not even see your bladder. It was completely covered. So we have to do a hysterectomy because I know I'm probably going to end up puncturing one organ when I open you up. She wanted to open me up again. And it can't be your bladder. So I wanted kids still at this point. So I was like so devastated, and just so devastated, but relieved that I found out that that could be what's going on. So then I decided to get a second opinion because I didn't like her anyway. I didn't want her operating on me. I didn't trust her. So I did get a second opinion, and with a really good doctor, but it was with UC Davis, and they're like a medical training facility. So, yeah, I ended up going through there, and this was like in 2008 that I ended up going there. And by the way, I'm still having major anxiety attacks and still trying to also figure out that why, and not thinking to myself, Danielle, you did just lose a baby, but I wasn't having anxiety attacks when I was pregnant. So I know for a fact it was because I think it was because I was a new mom. I think it was because I did lose my child. I think it was because I was in so much pain and all the doctors were treating me like I was a drug addict. So I think that all those things were really pushing me over the edge as far as who I was. And I just know that it was frustrating because I started to believe them. You know, I started to question myself. Oh, well, maybe this is all in my head. Maybe it is mental. Maybe I should go on medication to see. You know, I started doubting myself, even though even though it would slap me back in my face when I felt the exact same way I was feeling, you know. So anyway, and that's the problem with, I don't trust doctors, and I'm sorry if you're watching your doctor. Maybe you're great. And I have doctors who I have on my team now who I do trust. But my journey through doctors has not been a pleasant one. And I understand that a lot of doctors are probably, very guarded because they can be used really easily. I get that. But for somebody who has never had any medical issues, I mean, I was even a good C-section candidate. I was, it just boggles my mind, honestly. So anyway, I decided to get a second opinion. Now, before he wanted to go in there, he had to do all of his tests and all that kind of stuff, and that's where I got the shots in my uterus, and I'm trying to think of a lot of other things that I did there, but you know what? I think actually before I ended up having the surgery, me and my husband, before 2008, when I had my surgery, within the second year, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, and I was having anxiety attacks. Well, my son Jesse was 2 years old at the time, and then Caden was 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. Well, I had decided to go with him on his trip, and on his business trip, and to Seattle, and I left the kids behind. Well, we ended up going into the spa, and I drank like one beer. I don't drink anymore, but then I had like one beer, and I was perfectly fine. The next day, I woke up, and I was not fine. I mean, I had all the plans to go and you know, drive around the city when he was there and like do all these things. But something happened to me where it was so scary, you guys. And this is the thing, anxiety attacks don't last. They're only supposed to last like you know, an hour at the most. They're not supposed to last days. So I really feel like my body was attacking itself. I don't know what, I just know that it was not good. And all I know is things weren't right. I didn't feel right. I felt out of my body. I felt like I was on acid. That's how I felt. I felt like I was on acid, but having a bad trip. That's how I felt. So I felt like I was on acid and having a bad trip. Even I could hear everything. All my senses were on such high alert, and I just was, and obviously that made me feel really anxious. So I couldn't handle myself. I pretty much feel like I had a nervous breakdown, actually, and because of the way I was feeling, and that's when I knew like there's something wrong with me, and that it's not just anxiety. Because I'm sorry, I do have anxiety, but it doesn't do that to me. Even my anxiety attacks weren't doing that to me. The way I feel was not right. I had to go home before JD, and I didn't even want to go in the airport. I didn't even want to walk on a plane. I didn't want to do anything because I felt so lost, and like I was senile. Like I felt like I didn't have full function, you know? And it was scary. Like my parents were watching my kids, and I didn't even drive home that night when I got there because I was too scared to drive. I was even still scared to drive the next day. So anyway, I ended up going home, and as soon as I got home, I called my mom and I said, Mom, there's something wrong with me. I need help. Like there's something wrong with me. I can't take care of the kids. So she came over, and she ended up calling my grandma, and my grandma suggested a therapist for like a cognitive therapist for me. And I don't think that what happened to me was anxiety based. I think that I was having anxiety because of the way I was feeling. So, and I do think that it was a really bad attack. Anyway, and I have a feeling it was because of the heat, you know, and the spa. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know, guys. Anyway, so I still feel like that sometimes. I still get that. And they're the worst kind of flares for me because I don't feel right. I don't feel right. Like something's wrong with me. Like I do not feel right. It is so hard to explain, but and I'll try to explain it maybe later. It's just sorry right now. I just don't think I can explain it. So anyway, that's when I started seeing this doctor named Dr. Fulton, and I was seeing him 3 times a week. And he has worked with pain management patients in hospitals, and he's also a cognitive doctor. So, and he does have a PhD, and he does the here and now. So we don't talk about past, we talk about the here and now, because my past is not what's giving me anxiety. My here and now is what's giving me anxiety. Anyway, so I started seeing him every week, 3 times a week, and he taught me so much. And we'll go into that later. Right now I just want to kind of go through my story really quick because I just want to finish the story out. Anyway, so I ended up having my surgery for my adhesions, and he was able to do it laparoscopically, and I was in there for about almost 6 hours. I was like it was like between 5.5 and 6 hours. And when I came out and they were wheeling me into the room, the recovery room, I woke up and I said, I still feel that exact same pain. And I have always been such a good patient. Like during C-sections, always up and loving and like la la la, even though I've been in so much pain, you know, whatever. This time I was pissed. I was like, what? Like, why am I feeling like the same pain? And the only thing I can think of is it's inflammation. That's the only thing in my mind I can think of. I was so depressed because of that. And this surgery was the worst surgery I've ever had. It was so painful. And I just remember you have to like poop and pee before you can leave, and I couldn't do any of that. I got out of there. I think I got out of surgery around like 9 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't even leave until like 9 o'clock at night because it just took me so long. Then when I got home, I was in so much pain. Anyway, so pretty much all the doctor kept saying is, you know, give it some time. You just had surgery. Give it some time. Story now here, because I'm going to stop it. I'll talk to you about I'll talk to you in the next video about like what happened after surgery and the journey that I went on after that. So by that time of that surgery, I'd been diagnosed with endomyosis, not endometriosis, endomyosis, possible. You can't know for sure unless you get a hysterectomy, but she's never wrong. She saw it laparoscopically. She says she's never wrong when she sees a uterus that looks like that. And then the adhesions and fibromyalgia and hyperthyroidism were the things that I were diagnosed with at the time we're talking about now. So I will come back and do another story, you know, soon or someday or whatever, and I will tell you about my path after I had that surgery and how it ended up turning out, and you know, and the rest. I mean, I have years of crap that I have to talk about. So anyway, guys, I guess I'll talk to you later. Have I been? Oh no, okay, good. I gotta go because it's been like so long. I'm like picking my nose. Like, what the? Sorry, guys. Like, obviously I feel completely comfortable with you guys because I'm just like picking away and all that stuff. I know that not all my subscribers might not like this kind of video. I'm pretty much doing it for my subscribers who do have, who are chronically ill, and maybe they find this kind of thing fascinating, or maybe they can relate to it. You know, I understand if you don't want to watch this video, if you're not, you know, if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to watch it. So I'm pretty much just want to get my story out, and it's going to take a while. So yeah, that's the first quarter of my story, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me down in the comments below. I have no problem talking with you guys. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you're at, and I'll chat at you later. Oh yeah, I like that. I'll chat at you later. No, we'll have another, no. Alright guys, I will talk to you guys later. Oh yeah, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you love these videos. And then also, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It's free, guys, and then you'll get like notified in your YouTube notifications that I have a video up or not. Anyway, my voice is starting to crack. So, alright guys, I will talk to you later. Bye.